Welcome. This is James Corbett of the Corbett Report with your eye-opener report for BoilingFrogsPost.com. It's the first week of June, and that can only mean two things. Firstly, that 130 or so of the world's most richest and powerful figures will be gathering at a 5-star resort near London to discuss some of the most important topics in global finance and geopolitics. And secondly, that the so-called Fourth Estate, whose very reason for existing is supposedly to keep the public informed on issues of importance, will be doing their best to label anyone who so much as raises questions about the meeting as a delusional mental patient.
Bilderberg is a meeting of powerful centrist industrialists and politicians. They always meet in secret once a year in a 5-star hotel with golfing facilities, and they've taken on the image for conspiracy theorists of the fabled shadowy cabal that secretly rules the world.
Are they?
Well, yes and no. I mean, they're
a bunch of powerful people. They meet in secret. They say we meet in private, which isn't quite the same thing, is it?
It's not quite the same thing. I do think that by and large, many members of the Bilderberg group actually see themselves in much the same way as the conspiracy theorists see them, as this shadowy cabal out to, if not to rule the world, but to influence world events.
50 leading politicians and business people are gathering at a ski resort in Switzerland today. It's a tough job. There's only one subject on the agenda. It's a big one. The future of the world. There will be no announcements, no press conferences. The whole party will be closed to reporters. It's the annual meeting of something called the Bilderberg Group. For some people, that demands a dun-dun-dun. For others, not. It's very, very secretive, though.
Yeah, because if you're into conspiracy theories, you may have heard the group being blamed for, among other things, the credit crunch and 9/11, even plotting the destruction of most of the world's population and of being interstellar lizards.
That the BBC would smear those interested in this annual meeting as believers in interstellar lizards is especially odd considering the network's own coverage of the group just a few years ago. Back in 2003, the BBC series Club Class aired a half-hour exploration of the group and the secrecy surrounding it. The programme even presented the documentary evidence that the group was committed to forming a European Union from the time of its inception in the mid-1950s, decades before the term was ever normalized in mainstream discourse.
The conference papers show exactly what was discussed within the secret confines of Bilderberg. What's striking is the degree of consensus reached by those at the meeting on contentious topics like European integration. Here's another interesting, it's another paper from the first one. It's about the European Union. It's interesting here saying some sort of European Union has long been a utopian dream, but the conference was agreed that it is now a necessity of our times. Only in some form of union can the free nations of Europe achieve a moral and material strength capable of meeting any threat to their freedom. So this is 50 years ago saying we must have a European Union.
Yes. Again, reflecting the fact that many of the people involved in planning Bilderberg had also played leading roles in getting the European movement going in the late 1940s and early 50s, and the fact the Americans want it so much as well because they want a stronger Western Europe to resist possible Soviet aggression.
Without Bilderbergers, Europe could be a very different place. From his study of the group, Mike Peters, a sociologist from Leeds Metropolitan University, is convinced that members of Bilderberg helped to conceive, create and establish all of the major European institutions.
The single currency was mooted first by people who were connected with Bilderberg. The sheer wealth and importance of the people who attend Bilderberg suggests that this is one of the most important political forums in the modern world.
By the BBC's own logic, presenter Simon Cox is clearly a delusional believer in interstellar lizards for daring to talk about the conference. The characterization of those interested in the Bilderberg meeting as mentally unhinged individuals is so obviously flawed that it is not even offensive. It is self-parodying. Better yet, exactly as the rare moment of lucidity on BBC's Club Class program a decade ago demonstrates, there is ample documentary evidence, including leaks and confessions from Bilderberg whistleblowers and insiders, proving that the meeting is, contrary to its self-characterization, a policy-setting conference at which important global policies and agendas are not only discussed, but later implemented. Over the years, a smattering of documents have been leaked, discovered, or otherwise obtained, giving glimpses into the meeting and its discussions. The documents cited by the BBC in the Club Class documentary were later leaked online and made available for download, detailing how the 1955 edition of the conference stressed the need to arrive in the shortest possible time at the highest degree of European integration, beginning with the common European market. Last year, the handwritten notes of Senator Fred R. Harris from the 1966 Bilderberg meeting were likewise released online, which included notes on suggestions for the reorganization of NATO and even the single line, "Nationalism is dangerous." Over the years, veteran Bilderberg hunters like Daniel Estulin and the late Jim Tucker have cultivated sources that have allowed them to report on some of the inside discussions. In 2002, Jim Tucker revealed that Bilderberg had resolved on starting the Iraq War in early 2003. In 2006, Daniel Estulin revealed that Bilderberg had decided to pop the housing bubble. In 2008, Jim Tucker revealed that Bilderberg had decided on the remarkable drop in oil prices that was then implemented just months later, to the universal surprise of analysts. Some of the most important information, however, has come from the Bilderberg attendees themselves. In 2009, Bilderberg chairman Etienne Davignon admitted that Bilderberg had been instrumental in creating the euro currency in the 1990s. In 2010, former NATO Secretary General Willy Claes admitted, contrary to Bilderberg's official propaganda, that agendas and policies are indeed discussed at the meeting and later expected to be implemented by its members. In recent years, a new phenomenon has emerged to press Bilderberg attendees for more information about what occurs behind the conference's closed doors. An independent, grassroots citizen media movement that confronts Bilderbergers and presses them for information on the meetings.
All right, here's the answer. I happened to be in Europe then on my way to Russia. I was invited to go to Bilderberg by Vernon Jordan, a friend of mine and a genuine hero of the civil rights movement. And to the best of my knowledge, NAFTA was not discussed by anybody in my presence.
Our news organization actually ran into Bill Clinton, and he said you invited him to the 1991 Bilderberg group meeting.
Yeah, I did.
My question is, who selected him right before he became president? And what happened at this very secretive establishment with no coverage of the press?
Well, we just had a good meeting.
I mean, there's no press coverage. You have international elites in banking, media, corporations, and press meeting in secret. And everybody calls it a conspiracy, and it never happens.
Well, it's not a conspiracy. I've been going since 1969.
What happens then?
We have a discussion. There's an agenda, and we discuss it.
Barack Obama
put out a report.
In 2008.
No, he's never been.
He's never been there?
No.
I can just ask, why is there no press coverage of something so important?
Because we don't want any press coverage. We don't have to have press coverage.
What is perhaps most remarkable about the Bilderberg Group and its annual meeting is not that such a conference takes place, or has a hand in setting the global political and economic agenda for the coming year. Only the most naive could believe that the rich and powerful do not actively collaborate to attempt to maintain and expand their influence. Equally unremarkable is that the mainstream media has helped to guard the meeting's secrecy throughout the majority of its 59-year existence. Only the most credulous would believe that the corporate and government media is there to do anything but protect their corporate and government masters' interests. What is remarkable is that, despite the secrecy surrounding the meeting, and the media's refusal to report on it, there has been such a flowering of awareness of the group in recent years. The pressure that has been placed on the group is undeniable. A few short years ago, protest of the group consisted of a handful of independent journalists gathering outside the hotel, taking photographs, and swapping notes. These days, the conference draws hundreds and even thousands of protesters and generates headlines and video reports in the online social media that have been accessed millions of times. As a direct response to this unprecedented pressure, the group has taken to issuing press releases regarding the conference and maintaining an official website where they post guest lists and discussion topics. This year, there is even a marked increase in mainstream news outlets that are reporting on the conference as a mundane matter of fact, rather than delusional conspiracy theory. These are minor steps towards transparency, to be sure, but the very fact that these steps are being taken at all is a testament to the tireless work of thousands of independent journalists and millions of netizens who have worked to get the word out about the group, its members, and their discussions. As listeners of the most recent Corbett Report podcast episode will know, this does not mean that the fight against these types of secret conferences is over by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, it is just an indication that Bilderberg itself is becoming less of a convenient shroud of secrecy for the would-be global elite. But it is a sign, nonetheless, that a self-motivated, self-sufficient, independent grassroots media can change the nature and course of these secretive negotiations and can overpower the mainstream media attempts to denigrate the vast majority of the public who are concerned about what is taking place behind closed doors. This video is brought to you by the subscribers of BoilingFrogsPost.com. For more information on this and other topics, please go to BoilingFrogsPost.com. For more information and commentary from James Corbett, please go to CorbettReport.com. Hello friends, James Corbett here, CorbettReport.com and BoilingFrogsPost.com. And of course, I just want to thank you all for listening and helping to spread the word about this eye-opener report and all the other reports that we do here at BoilingFrogsPost.com. Your help is what helps to propagate this out into the mass, into the public, and to create that mass awareness that we were talking about in this eye-opener report. So you all out there are a vital part of this equation, and of course all of your support is greatly appreciated. And I'd just like to take a moment to turn your attention to the front page of BoilingFrogsPost.com right now, where at the very top you'll find the latest on the BoilingFrogsPost.com quarterly funding drive, trying to raise enough money to actually pay all of the contributors to the website. And people who have been following Boiling Frogs Post for any length of time know that Sibylla's done an incredible job of piecing together an ever-growing network of people who are producing media on almost a daily basis there at the website. Not only myself with the eye-opener reports, but also Peter B. Collins and Sibylla Edmonds co-hosting the Boiling Frogs Post podcast. And there's many other podcasts there as well. The Reality Principle with Eric Draitser and Empire, Power, and People with Andrew Gavin Marshall. And there's Paul Jamiel and his political cartoons. There's a number of people who are contributing op-eds and articles, including Paul Craig Roberts and others. It is an incredibly useful website, so I hope you're using it. And if you are, I truly hope that you'll consider donating in this funding drive, because truly, without that support and without reaching our goal, we simply can't have all of these people contributing to the website. So your support really does make a difference to this website and to the mission that we're doing here to try to get the word out about Bilderberg and many other things that even the pseudo-alternative media generally won't touch with a 10-foot pole. And this is what the Boiling Frogs Post site is really for, so your help is appreciated in that. And let me just remind you that this not only makes things like the eye-opener report possible, but for all of those people out there who enjoyed the Sibylla Edmonds Gladio B series that we did here over the past few months, all of those reports were brought to you by the subscribers of this website. So once again, the funding drive is there on the front page of BoilingFrogsPost.com, and we appreciate your support. Looking forward to talking to you all again next week.